I'm working on another belt grinding project, basically, and I've gotten to the point where I got to figure out how much belt tension. So I've been doing some research online and that stuff, and it turns out that all the recommendations I've seen so far are somewhere around 30 pounds. And I didn't have any clue where I was at, and so it got me to looking at this. And something that's plagued me ever since I started using this thing is every time I turn it on, you'll watch the belt jump over, okay? It'll jump over and it goes back to where it's supposed to, and I can track it. But the next time I turn it on, see it jump over? And if you'll notice back on that, if you can see it, the reason it looks kind of rough in that stuff is because I put it on the lathe and I knurled it to try to get some traction, because I had a feeling it was slipping, and that was why I was walking over, and I was right. That did fix it so that it wouldn't walk off and didn't slip as bad. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take a look. Now this is just a 50-pound digital fish scale. Okay, turn it on, it's zeroed. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull down on it here until I just get some movement, the belt starts to loosen up and that stuff. And let's get an idea where we're at here. That's 15 pounds. Okay, so let's take one of these springs, and I'm going to pull it down here and kind of hook it under there, kind of temporary. I don't have a hole or anything like that there to do it with. Let's see what kind of tension we got now. And I moved it about the same, and now I got 21. Okay, so let's turn it on and see what happens to our tracking here. Tracks to the right a little bit more, which is fine. You expect it to everything to flex a little bit and that stuff with the extra belt pressure. You see that? It jumps, but it recovers a whole lot quicker. Okay, let me move the other one, and let's. I'm hoping to get it up close to the 30 pounds or whatever. We'll see if I can do this without the spring popping off and stabbing me in the finger. Okay. Ow, ow, ow. Okay, pull it down, about the same amount of deflection. Whoops. Oh, I got like 27. So right in there is 27, 30, 31. And that's, let's see here. There's 28. And the belt is just, you know, getting to the point where it comes loose there. So hopefully the springs won't pop off, but let's see what it does for the tracking now. Expect a little jump there to start with, and now that it's set, let's see what it does. Oh, look at that. There's really hardly any belt jump there. Okay, so basically that's answered my question that I definitely want to see about getting about 30 pounds of pressure up on that for the spring or whatever, for pushing the belt there. That's it for now. That's nice though. That kind of fixes a long-term annoyance that I've had with this thing, you know, and always worried, because every time I fired it up, you saw how much it jumped to start with. So anybody else out there building their own, a little more belt tension than you think there, it's probably better. That probably would have saved me from that very first video of jumping the belt off and it running across the shop, but we'll see. I'll have to try it on higher speed. Well, I'm doing a little more trying to figure out how to get a spring for the next belt grinder, and I know I need a I know I want want one that will handle a 30-pound load. I would like to get one that would handle, that would deflect about an inch. Now this is 0.105 wire on this spring, which is a little too thick. I think I actually went down around 0.08, 0.09. I've got 30 pounds of weight hanging here. It's reading 31.2. And so with where it's sitting now, when you buy the package at the hardware store, you get 2 springs, okay? And so it's measured inside the hooks here, okay? So this was listed as a 2 and 7/8. All right, they did not, they measured to the outside apparently. Yep. So that's fine. We can do the same thing. Because basically all we really want is we want a reference of how far that spring is stretched. So with 30 pounds hanging there, and you can easily, I don't know if you can see that in there, but you can easily deflect that. So you want to make sure you're just touching. Now if you're using a set of digital calipers, it's a whole lot easier. You could zero it and then just push it back. But as you can see, we've got about 5/8 of an inch, I think. Let's see here. There's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Yeah, about 620. Yeah, so real close to 5/8 of an inch deflection. So that's a little much, but usable. So so let's see here. Now let's the limit that listed on the package was 46 pounds, I think. 46.2. Doesn't say how far. Doesn't have all the specs on it, that stuff. So take it down. That's about 46, 48 pounds right there. And what I'm looking for is to make sure that, can you see the other grinder? Yeah, okay, so the reason I need to know roughly how far it'll overextend is I have to be able to move it far enough to get the belts off. Okay, so I probably need to measure, you know, this, pushing it down to get the belt off, that's not even a half an inch. You know, and I'm easily going more than a half an inch here, you know, so if it was in the same spring thing, I could do it. So that one might just work. The goal is I'm trying to find a spring that is readily available. I don't want to have to spend the money on having custom springs done, so we'll see. I don't think it's quite focusing on the part I wanted to, but what I did here was I took a little turnbuckle. I pulled the 2 big springs I had out of there. Took a little turnbuckle mainly for to get the length I needed, but then it also made it to where I could adjust it. So then what I was able to do was I put the belt back on and spun the belt. You don't want the belt cattywampus on there or whatever, because it makes it effectively shorter. And once it tracks, then it gets longer. So since I measured it on with the weight, with the 30 pounds hanging from it, and I took a measurement of how long the spring was with 30 pounds hanging from it, I put it back on here and I turned the turnbuckle until my spring was back at that length. Okay, that tells me I got 30 pounds pulling on here. Now what I'm not factoring in here is whether or not that pivot point here is directly in between the two. I think that where the spring pulls is a little bit further out. So what I'm going to need to do is take the scale, my fish scale kind of thing, and let's see if we can just move over a little bit here and measure it. So that should have got me in the ballpark, but I wasn't thinking about the fact that that fulcrum's not right in the middle. So let's turn this thing on. All right, there we go. So Oh, that's pretty darn close. Well, I got that down to 51. So I think I'm on a little bit on the tight side there as far as the belt goes. The best way to do it is to get a belt gauge and measure the belt. So, and that's pretty close there. A couple of pulls on that look pretty darn close to the 30. The real tell, you know, when I was testing this the other day, I had it tracked at the 30 pounds. So let's see. Tracking still exactly where it was. And it's not bouncing. So, since it's still exactly in the same spot, if it was looser, it would track one way. If it was tighter, it would track the other way because of the flex in the metal and stuff like that. Things getting pulled around and pushed. So, I think I'm really darn close there. That spring just might work. Well, let's see here. If I push down on this, oh man, that's a lot of pressure. But it doesn't take a lot of movement to, you know, have to get on there. Yeah, that just might work. I'll have to see. There's another spring I'm eyeballing, but I got to get a hold of the company and find out how much they are. All right, I'll call that good for now. I got some other stuff I got to go do. Well, I'm not sure if we can see this. Let's see here. Is it focusing on that? So what we're looking at, that's the receipt for my the springs. I'm looking at the top line there, the E-spring Winks, number 528, 3/4 inch with a .091 wire, 2 3/4 inches long. Okay, went down and just got back from picking those up. Now, whereas the other springs I bought, they were measured to the outside. That 2 3/4 is measured to the inside, which is more correct for an extension spring. Okay, now it's a nominal 2 3/4. So it says, but it's not quite. We've got 2.725, so we're about 25 thousandths short on that one. I bought 2 of them here just to get a little bit better average, and that one's a hair over 30, so pretty close. So now I went ahead and did the other measurements. Actually, let's just go ahead and do those again real quick. Alright, I went picked up a couple other springs here, slightly smaller wire size, .091. Still a 3/4 inch, 2 3/4 long. Now they measured these a little differently. These were measured, and if I already, we'll see whether I edited out of the other part of the video. But anyway, these are just a hair shy of 2 3/4. They measured them to the inside, which is the more correct way for extension springs. But because it's going to be a whole lot harder for me to measure inside to inside, and I want to see how far this spring stretches with 30 pounds on it, I'm going to measure to the outside, and that's 2.901, so 2.9. Let's grab a pencil here. 2.090. Alright, now what I'm going to do here is I've got this set up. This is an eye bolt, same as what I've got in the weights, but I'm zeroing out the weight here with the spring and everything like that, so I can get it even closer to see how close we are to the 30 pounds. So I'm going to turn it on. That'll automatically zero it with all this on. I can take that off. Yeah, it's about 9 ounces just for that. So, oh man. 30 pounds, 10 ounces. That's close enough. Okay, so where are we at here? Looks like all the bounce is settled down out of it here. Okay, now I don't care about the weight, so I'm going to go ahead and hold the caliper down on the top here. I don't care if it changes my weight or not. It gives me something a little more steady to measure it against. Now I can come up until I just touch. And I've got 4.15. So that's 4 point... No, I wrote that other one down wrong. That other one's 2.9. 2.91. Oh, this one's 4 point... Oh, it's 4.09. It's not quite 1. So we can make it 4.1. That's 10 thousandths difference. So I can hold that up there. That gives you an idea how far it's stretched. Okay. That's pretty dang close. Oh yeah, look at that. That's a hair over an inch. Inch and a quarter almost. That's almost exactly what I want to see. Now, the other thing I want to take note of too is, I'm going to just hold it here. Got about 4 1/8 there. Now I want to see, when I stretch it, I can get it down to 5 inches, and it says 48, 49 pounds. Okay. I could stretch it further, but I don't want to deform the spring. What I'm looking at though is from 4 1/8, I can easily get to 5 1/8. So I can get another inch of stretch out of it. So this spring is almost exactly what I'm looking for. Okay, I wanted a spring that was short enough to fit into the belt grinder and that stuff. I wanted to be able to pull 30 pounds somewhere toward the middle of a 2-inch range. Okay, so I can easily go 2 inches of stretch on here, and at about the 4-inch mark, I'm getting 30 pounds. So that is perfect. So now I get to basically go modify my CAD drawings to match this, and get this mounted up in the CAD and see. So actually, as long as we're here, I've got 2 of these springs. Let's make sure the other spring does similar. Yeah, 38 ounces. Okay, let's do this again. Oh, well, let's see here. Where are we at? Well, this one does stretch a little further. This one, well, it's saying 31 pounds now. So it's got about a pound extra on it. Not sure why. Oh, because I'm pulling down up here. This says 4.22. So that one stretched a little bit further. I'm accounting for some, I'm factoring in and building into the grinder a little bit of adjustment and stuff like that. So that should work. I'm just kind of surprised that, well, let's see here. Just kind of surprised it stretched 1/8 of an inch more than the other one. All right, but it came back to where it was, then 5 thousandths. Okay. Ouch. Let's throw the other spring back on here. Oh, I'm sure a lot of this won't make the video. Yeah, 4.14. So they are a little different. Let's if I remember right, when I checked them, they both come out really close. 2.9. Yeah, 2.905. Okay. That's enough for now. They're close enough. I will see how much of a factor that is. I don't know.